All right, a very good afternoon to you. It's time for Newsbeat here on Metro TV. We're live from the Akea Boahima studio at North Ridge, and we're streaming on Facebook as Metro TV Ghana, on Twitter and Instagram as Metro TV _GH. I am Ania Fampo. Follow us on channel 277 DSTV as well. We'll now take a closer look of the headlines of stories coming up. Now, Tema Motorway reopens to traffic after works of rehabilitation works on a bridge along the stretch will gauge the free flow of the traffic now. Shortage of diesel reported at several filling stations across the country. We will speak with COPEC while touring other regions to assess the situation there. Now, there is simmering tension in the Menya Krobo district of the Eastern region following protests. Residents against military presence and the instance or the switching off of ECG meters. Will bring you some updates of that. Also, in news from elsewhere, protesters in India stones at police and set fire to train coaches as demonstration against a new military recruitment process raged for a second day. Now let's go on to the motorway, and portions of the Accra-Taba motorway closed to traffic on Monday have been opened following the completion of repair works on a dilapidated bridge on the stretch. The road was opened at exactly 6:06 a.m. this morning, and the sector minister, after he had indicated that the bridge has passed the integrity test and drivers can't use it without fear. Let's cross over to the scene of the repair works where my colleague Elvis Ando is pitched camp there. Elvis, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Motorway where maintenance work is being done. Now the contractor on site gave a maximum of 3 weeks to complete this maintenance work on a bridge that is fast deteriorating. But as we speak, within a week, they have been able to finish up with the maintenance work being done on the stretch. I'm currently going to be joined by the contractor on site who will be giving us details as to how they were able to finish on time. His name is Aaron Amponsa. And Aaron, thanks very much and many thanks for joining us on Metro TV. Kindly share with us, how are you able to fast-track activities for the maintenance of the bridge?
Thank you very much. As we promised that we are going to take about 3 weeks to do both the phase 1 and phase 2 of this Lagbaba bridge. We realized that the traffic was unbearable, and a lot of people were in the traffic for almost about 3 to 4 hours. So what we did was to do day and night. From Monday 5:30 up to Thursday, we were here throughout. So that's what we did, and at the end of the day, we were able to finish on time.
How certain are we that the bridge is now strong enough to allow for heavy vehicles to pass on it?
Already, the vehicles are passing on it. Anytime we come to site, we do the background checks before we come. So we can even say that we are going to do it and open it, let's say 3 hours, depending on the kind of operation that you will do. That nowadays we are in technological way whereby things are done in an expeditious manner. So at the end of the day, I want to assure vehicular users or the motorway users that they should feel everything is in order, and they feel free, and they should not be afraid of passing on the bridge. I think some of you went under the bridge. We did a lot of work before coming up. That's why a lot of people are surprised about the rate of work.
Okay, so can you tell us, are you going to do another maintenance on the other side of the stretch, or is going to be done only on this side because that is the only affected part?
This is where the problem was, so then we have fixed that. Apart from that, when you see us working on the motorway, don't say that it's the no motorway is about 24, 25 kilometers, and it's about 60 years too. So definitely there are a lot of problem on the motorway, as you all know, because when a particular anything has a lifespan. So when the lifespan is gets to our reached, we have it's our responsibility to do maintenance, and that's what we do. So maybe tomorrow you can see somebody doing another. It's part of the maintenance to ensure that users are comfortable and safe. So that is it.
Okay, so what happens to the diverted routes that were created to allow for free movement on the motorway?
Yeah, we are coming to block it immediately. I've called somebody to come and do it. So the police are here giving us that so that nobody will get 10. So yes, we are going to face crash barriers at both ends. But the work on the crash barrier will start immediately. So that's what we are going to do now.
And how about the debris on the stretch? Who is supposed to take it away?
Where is the debris?
We're looking at some of the rods that are left on either side of the road.
Rods.
Yes, the rods. As in the iron rods that you took out of the bridge to fix new ones.
They have packed everything, so I don't know the iron rod you are talking about. Because we did it before they opened them. The minister was said this morning, so we did everything before the bridge was open. Because if you have to put iron rods on the road, maybe it can just have some effect on it. So there's not like, yes, there are debris, but as time goes on, we are going to clear them, but not iron rods. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for speaking with us. That was Aaron Amponsa, the engineer on site, who has given assurance that everything is in order, and also vehicles and people who plow their route on the Tema Accra motorway can feel comfortable to use the stretch. So now everyone can breathe a sigh of relief. Reporting for Metro News, Elvis Ando, Tema Accra motorway.
All right, so good news and a sign of a sigh of relief for commuters who are using the motorway. So if you're using it today, you're likely to go through a free movement instead of a few 4 days ago choked motorway that we have been using. Let's see how it goes for the contractor to also complete the work there. Now let's move on from the motorway to fuel. The National Petroleum Authority on May 9, 2022 allayed fears of possible shortage in diesel following a projection by the Institute of Energy Security, IES, on Friday, May 6, 2022. Now the IES is said to have said the shortage is coming months and will be due to disruptions on the international market as a result of the Ukraine-Russia tension. Now, my colleague Zoe just returned from the streets and speaking to some filling stations or members at the filling station. Zoe, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much.
And how are you? So you were on the street and you visited some filling stations. Yes. Where did you visit?
So I went through Osu, went through to Dankwa and Labadi. Actually, I went to 8 filling stations to check on the
8 filling stations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Namely,
I went to Well, I went to Total, I went to Shell. Yes.
Okay. So you picked these 3 and visited 8 branches of them.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell us what you saw.
Okay. So according to what was going on there, in as much as it was indicated that there's going to be a rush in fuel, it was actually diesel. But per what Metro News gathered, there was a rush, but it wasn't as we were anticipating. Okay. A lot of cars were there buying, but it wasn't as much as we thought it would be.
So there weren't queues, long queues at filling stations?
Yeah, there were, especially at the Goyle filling station at Osu. There were about 10 or more cars, yes, buying.
In one queue?
Yes. Yes, but for the other side, it wasn't that much. Because when I went to Total, the information was they don't have at all. But for Goyle, they have some, but they are also reserving it. So.
Oh, wow. So Goyle gave indications of reserving it.
Yes.
That's diesel.
Yes.
And Total said it's finished.
Yes.
Okay. Without letting you speak much, let's just pick some videos. You spoke with some people.
Yes.
So what did they say? Let's go to that video. I'll get back to Zoe.
There has been a shortage, but it started yesterday when around 2 p.m. we heard that from Total they have run out of diesel.
I went to Total, that was I think 3 days today, and there was a shortage over there. And Shell also, yeah. So for some weeks now, I've been using this, how do we call it, Go. Their prices is low, comparing it to the other filling stations. Their prices are okay. Since the other filling stations, they have shortages, so I normally come here because here they always have this, how do we call it, fuels and diesels.
How did these drivers, what was their demeanor like whilst they were waiting in the queue to get the fuel?
So for some, they were actually in a rush, and others decided to leave to go to other fuel stations. Some decided to go to Total until they were told that Total does not have diesel. So they had to remain there till it got to their turn.
So were there complaints that you picked up apart from those you spoke with? Did you see that people maybe hanging around were complaining about the current situation that we're faced with?
Yes, the little complaint I had was on the prices of the fuel. They kept mentioning that the price has increased, and that was their big worry. Yeah.
Right. Zoe, join me. Let's speak with Benjamin Insia of COPEC. I think he's joined us via Zoom. He's Executive Director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Benjamin. Benjamin Amoah. Do I have Amoah, rather? Right. All right. So, Benjamin, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me on Newsbeat. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So what exactly is the picture you can paint to us when it comes to fuel increase, especially with diesel? Brief us on what's happening.
So one, international market prices have surged, and two, the cedi has depreciated further against the dollar. And for that matter, there's a supply shortage of diesel currently in Ghana.
I'm sorry, if you can just quickly take that again. I didn't quite catch you.
I'm saying that there's a challenge with the supply of diesel because of the supply disruptions on the European market. That is one, making its price increase on that particular market where we import our products from. And then two, the cedi has also depreciated further against it. And for that matter, reflectively, petroleum prices, or especially diesel, will have to surge. And that is why we are seeing incessant increases locally.
So how is the supply disruption affected by what's going on the international market if we actually indeed have the money to buy?
You may have the money to buy, but because there are not enough products, now products are being rationed and then preferences setting. Oil leaders in Europe are now looking for credit-worthy buyers, and most of our BDCs will have to generate a letter of credit before they can import these products. So it's becoming a challenge. However, the market still has enough of diesel. Diesel are coming in, I think, almost every month, and the MP has assured us that they've guaranteed some new markets where we can import diesel from.
Let's deal with reserves first before I come to if we have enough. The timing for reserves for the country, has anything changed? Has the plan for a reservation of fuel changed? Maybe due to the current situation, we may want to increase the periodic, set aside the time that we set aside to reserve and make sure we have enough. Have we made any changes to that?
Not that I know of. BOST, for example, was established specifically for reserving petroleum products for about 6 to 12 weeks. That is 3 months maximum. But as we speak, BOST is not performing that particular function. And for that matter, whenever there is a supply challenge on the European market, the local consumer here suffers because we don't have any buffer to push or release onto the market, the local market, to cushion the petroleum consumer. So it is up to BOST and government to realize that the function of BOST, which is a strategic stock reserve function, should be properly appreciated or properly evaluated and operationalized for the petroleum consumer locally to benefit.
I see. Now you say that there's diesel in the system, but we have visited some of the filling stations who are claiming there isn't. Do you think that there's an artificial shortage in the system?
It could be because we are entering a new window. BDC set new prices for petroleum products, and some of these OMCs will like to cash in and then make profit out of it. So diesel is in the system, but I think most of them are waiting for new prices to sell them. So beginning today till Monday, any retail outlets you visit or any filling station you visit, there will be diesel around, especially when the new price is set in.
So those who are visiting today and are claiming that there is no diesel, what should be done to them?
So those you visited, the window started yesterday, and most of the OMCs you visited, you would have noticed that they are still maintaining old prices. And because they are maintaining old prices, they've not bought new stock. I think by Monday, any retail station across the country will have products and new prices will set in. Most of them will have the new prices and sell at the new prices.
Benjamin, I am grateful for your time for speaking to us. We'll get back to you and find out more. Benjamin Isiah is the head of research at COPEC, speaking to us on the updates of diesel, specifically the shortage of fuel in the system. Now let's move on to other stories. Managing of the State Transport Corporation, that's the managing director, Nana Komia, has thrown his weight behind transport operators. He says that it is not their fault for constant increase of transport fares, and it's not the government fault either for the cost of increase in fuel. Now, government should either redeem its pledge by ensuring subsidized fuel price, or transport operators will increase fares.
In the last 2 months, the GPRT decided that this regulation of the fares was really killing the business. So the last 20%, which happened in February, was just the GPRTU that forced it through.
Oh.
Otherwise, we probably still would have been just 28%.
And they say they're going to do another one.
That's what they've said. I mean, it is not the fault of transport operators if fuel goes up.
Yeah.
You know, they are in business. If the price of fuel has gone up, you forget about the other incidentals.
Parts and all
Parts,
that, yeah.
brakes, oils, and so on. Just fuel. And you don't allow correct pricing. How are they going to survive?
Okay. So you are allowing correct pricing through deregulation.
Yes.
For the fuel.
Yes.
But when it comes to transport fares, you don't allow sale.
You don't allow sale.
Yeah.
You know, so you have a situation now where cost of fuel has gone up 229% in 2 years, and fares have been allowed 48%. How are you going to be able to replace fares and bring in new buses, replace buses? How?
Now, still on Good Morning Ghana, adding to the Member of Parliament for North Tong constituency, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, says there's no strategy or master plan to redeem the country from fuel and transport crisis.
I think that first of all, you know, more fundamentally, we should look at what is our transportation vision, what is our strategy, what's our master plan. Then issues of pricing and other things, you know, maintenance, the kind of participation you want from private sector will flow therefrom. Because if you don't have a master plan, you don't have a strategy, you will be where we are today. And Doc, I've been looking at some numbers. You take rail transport. We were doing much, much better in 1965. The Ghanaian rail sector peaked in 1965, according to World Bank data. That's when we had over 2 million tons of freight using the rails that we had at the time. You had jobs created for thousands of people across the country.
Now let's move on to electricity. And there's simmering tension within the Manya-Krobo district of the Eastern region as residents of the Pongono hit the streets on Thursday to protest against deployment of soldiers and installation of prepaid meters. The protest, led by the youth in the area, wants the power distributor to halt its intended plans. Over the years, residents of the two municipalities have kicked against what they claim to be huge electricity tariffs, accusing the ECG of deliberately attempting to shortchange them. Here are some residents.
We've been hearing that the Krobos don't want to pay light bill. It's not like that. We've been paying light bill over 30 years now. And now we were there and it was overbilling. Over 6 months, over a year that we didn't receive bills. And even it was overbilling. So that was where the issue started. Later on, you wanted to put pressure or intimidation for us to pay the overbilling. We said no, we didn't understand. So we wanted you people to sit down with us, including our chiefs, so that you hear from us and we also hear from you and we will have a good negotiation. The ECG or the government didn't want to hear that. And I wonder that how can you call someone, or what is the government? We are the government. And you can't switch on light for animals. We switch light for human beings. And we are using it. We are those that will pay. And we are saying, no, what is going on? We don't understand, or we are not okay with it. What is stopping the government to sit down with the people that we voted for you? You, the government, we voted for you, and you gave us MCE over here. So without we, there's no YouTube or there's no government.
I protest the approach by the ECG because it is inappropriate to use security forces to give out meters. We don't want any bloodshed, but should we feel threatened, we will not hesitate to defend ourselves. Soldiers have nothing to do with works related to electricity supply. Such role, if any, primarily falls within the mandate of the police. However, the issue is that the police on previous occasions ended up shooting one civilian to death and injured others. We have been calm about it, but this time around, if they act inappropriately, we will face them in equal measure.
But now, say omusi omunti asia, ebi emoja emra. Are you ready? Yes.
All right, let's speak with two people. One is a resident in this Manya-Krobo municipality, and he's going to be speaking on the basis of anonymity. Now, we also join via Zoom by Tema Regional Public Relations Officer of the ECG, Sechua Mensah, for more on this. Sechua, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Hope you can hear me. Hello, Sechua. All right, let me go on to the resident who is speaking to us on the basis of anonymity. Good afternoon, sir. Sir or lady?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Right. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. Where are you as you speak to me? Where are you now?
I'm currently in Manya-Krobo.
Okay, so
Manya municipality.
All right. And why do you disagree so much with the ECG on carrying out its mandate?
This is the information in the public domain as far as the media is concerned. ECG, being a corporate entity, are using the media to their advantage, best of it because they have the resources. Nobody is disallowing ECG to take to do their mandate in the area. The problem is, over the years, we have overbilling issues with them. 6 months, you have not given somebody a bill, and you accumulated it and want the person to pay within a short time. That have been the issues we have been arguing over the years. After some time, stakeholders have been consulted. The way forward is prepaid. Currently in the media, they are carrying it as if the youth or the community don't want prepaid. It's not the issue here. Ask their CEO, their PRO. Having they have several public consultations with stakeholders, including the assembly members, opinion leaders, religious leaders, at Odumase Zimmerman auditorium. That meeting have went on for barely 3 months. Roadmaps have been laid clear how to implement the prepaid in the area. Community sensitization. How many people call randomly make calls to the city? How many people have even seen the type of meter they are bringing to us? How it operates? Prepaid can go off at any time. Weekends, do we have vendor points to even recharge if it goes off? No. They met the leaders who think they can lead themselves to anywhere they want. They decide on what to do. Before a day break, they deploy military into the community. Is that the way to go in a democratic country?
So let me get this straight. This is because they have not engaged you as a community to inform you or educate you on the new systems they're trying to implement. Is that it?
Yes. They have a community leadership engagement. The roadmap is sensitization at community level. At that level, some of us were there. We suggested even to them that basic schools, secondary schools, are best ways to get the students educated about their operations, and they can go back and educate their households. With that, we could be ready to even take this thing at that level. They even suggested at the point, leadership must voluntarily request for the installation of the prepaid meter. Have they installed a prepaid meter at the municipal assembly? Have they tried it at any of the public places?
Right. Confirm to me that you had a clash with the ECG and you lost one of yours because the police shot the person. Is that a fact?
They have killed one of ours. It's not a fact. It's a public information. A Kobo have been shot and killed. What have happened? Nothing.
What's the name of this person that died?
Thomas Partey. He was shot and dead. They said cross bullet. Later they said a rubber bullet was even able to kill a person. The police inquiry they formed, whatever they formed, the information was not even made public to anybody. Right. You think if you really go behind and sort the family out, you have communicated to the community? No.
All right, hold on, let me speak with the PRO. Sechua Mensah has joined me. Sechua, thank you for joining me on Newsbeat. You're welcome. So I remember I spoke with you a few days back and you said that so far the exercise has been successful, but it looks like you've gotten to a point where the people have clashed with you again. Why are you failing to embark on a community sensitization knowing you have a history with this community? Kindly unmute. I can't hear you. So unmute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon and thank you for having us. Currently, we are doing the prepaid installation in Pong. Talking about community engagements, we had community engagements at Belikope, Lolonyo, Ahojo, Pong Quarters, Pong Zongo, the lorry station at Pong. How our operations are when it comes to the deployment of prepaid meters, we start with pre-installation survey. So we do the pre-installation survey, then we do education, then we do actual installation. Currently, we have done all these activities at the Pong area. So that's how come we are now doing the installation at the Pong areas. We've done some in parts of Somanya. We've gone through these stages. In Pouno, we started with a pre-installation survey. We haven't done community education in Pouno. We haven't started installation in Pouno. Even that, with the education, we are now using radio. We've been on Right FM, which operates from Somanya. We've been on NJ FM, which operates from Edukrom. I'm sure some would be watching Metro TV by now. We've been doing the education across board. We are also looking at using announcements. You are in the media. When it comes to a mix of activities for communication, we don't have one. And even that, you may have all the mix, all the announcements and events and whatever else, but some may still not hear it. Currently, we are not in Pouno. We are not installing meters in Pouno. So if some residents in Pouno are agitating, what exactly are they agitating about? We have not gotten there yet. We are still in Pong. We are deploying in Pong. Can we hold on? Can we allow the process to go on? The one you spoke with on anonymity, he was saying that he's aware that we've had a number of engagements. He's aware that we've engaged some people in the community. Well, that is a plus. That shows that we have not been doing this silently or in a hidden way. We have been open. he mentioned that there's the roadmap, and the roadmap is supposed to include community education and all of that. We've been to the St. Alphonse Church, it's a Catholic church in Pong. We've been to the Global Evangelical Presbyterian Church at Paxton Electoral Area. We've been to the Bethel Presby Church, also in Pong. We have had series of education, and like I'm saying, again, it is a mix. Even with your news, you would have segments, you would have different times for your news. You have your radio station.
Yes, but Sawa, let me just cut. Yeah, let me just cut in. If you're doing pre-installation, it is still installation of some sort. So whichever community you're doing installation, you don't do the pre-installation before you do education. How does that work?
My dear, we do pre-installation before we do education. You may want to ask what goes into our pre-installation.
That's why I'm asking, how does it work?
Okay,
that's
so this is the pre-installation survey. We need to go to the field. We pick two types of information. We have our commercial information and our technical information. The commercial information will enable us to pick information on the meter. Assuming there's a debt on it, the meter, the name of the meter, all that commercial issues, we pick it. And then we also pick the technical information. Mind you, when we are installing meters, the meter itself, the cables, if it will need a board and all of that, it comes at ECG spots. So during this pre-installation survey, we pick information as to, for instance, the old meter is at this side of the house. The new meter will have to reroute it. What information, how much cable do we need? The length of cable, the type of cable. Does it need a meter board? Do we have a flat surface to place it there? These are the technical information that we need to pick. Now, again, every meter, before it goes to, please let me land, before every meter goes to the field, we need to configure it for specific customer. Every meter is configured for a specific customer. If we do not do that pre-installation survey, we will not be able to pick the information to configure the meter. Now whilst we finish the pre-installation survey and we are doing the education, that meter configuration is going on. So once the education is done, then we do the installation. Okay, so I just wanted to find out if this is what the details of what you do, especially picking technical information. You may in one way or the other, interfere with a private home or a community. They may see strange people, they don't understand what's going on. So, I still feel that some sort of information can get to the people before pre-installation is done, not so? In ECG's work, we've been sorry, we've been working for over 50 years. We have installed prepaid meters for over 20 years. This is our 22nd year of using or of installing or deploying prepaid meters. Constantly in all our education, we are telling our customers that when it comes to ECG meters, when it comes to ECG's work, please do not interfere with the work. When ECG workers come to your home and they need access to the meter, please do not prevent them. Right. Please do not interfere with the work. Please do not touch any ECG meter. Please do not move any ECG meter. This issue of access is part of the reason why in some neighborhoods we place the meters on the poles. Because at the end of the day, we need constant access as much as possible. Right. So we do not encourage that our customers would prevent us from doing the work. Right. Now, when it comes to the pre-installation survey, it's just like we can have a meter reader who goes around every month to pick details so that we can raise a bill for a postpaid customer. So it's not like you would wake up and see a whole battalion of ECG staff, like 20, 30 people by a meter. No. Right. We have our own ways of working, which we have been doing for well over 20 years. This is our 22nd year of installing
let me now speak with my anonymous customer or resident in the area. Are you still there?
Yes.
So which specific area are you?
Manya Ponguno.
Manya what?
Ponguno.
And have they gotten there? Have the ECG officials gotten there yet?
They have not gotten there.
They've not gotten there.
I'm quickly rushing to see whether I'll get some information to you. And see whether this information is in good faith of their business. If a whole district chief executive municipal chief executive for Yilo Krobo communicate this information publicly to the people, whether it's in good faith. A contingent of 50 military personnel will be deployed to the Kobo land area to assist you to install prepaid meter from home. The installation is simple. When they enter your house and you say you don't want the prepaid meter, they will disconnect you and move on.
But why will you say you don't? Hold on. Why will you say you don't want the prepaid meter? Why don't you want it?
Has Techiwa told you that Lower Manya said they don't want prepaid meters?
But you are just saying that when they enter your house and they're giving the prepaid and you say you don't want it.
It's not what I'm reading for you. It's an official communication from the Yilo Krobo municipal chief executive.
Okay.
He put this information in public domain. Is it not a threat to the citizens? Is it not a threat? This is an information public. He put it on his personal social media timelines.
But that means that there's been situations where they've entered homes and they have rejected the prepaid meters, no?
This information was released on the Sunday ahead of the military entering the town on Monday.
So there's military presence in the town now, as we speak.
There is military presence in town now. And ask Techiwa whether since they came, somebody fought them. Nobody even have time for them.
But you have threatened. We've shown videos of you threatening that you will not allow them into the community.
I'm not the one who spoke on that from that direction.
But we have young men who are there and ready to fight the authorities.
Yes, we don't live with military in town. Do you live with military in your hood?
Sechua, don't you think that this military presence, you're creating fear and panic? Do I still have Sechua, please? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you briefly.
Okay, so let me go through it this way. Again, we've installed prepaid meters for well over 20 years. This is our 22nd year of deploying prepaid meters. In all instances, we use our contractors and they do a good enough job. In instances, we're able to install 300, 400 meters in a single day. We've been able to install 500 meters in a single day, but we've had a lot of resistance in these areas. So we've needed to beef up our technical team. Now, a lot of people can identify the military people because of the uniforms they are in. But additionally, we have added 90 electrical engineers from across ECG operational areas.
All right, for the sake of time,
because we need to beef up our personnel.
Right, thank you. For the sake of time, we'll leave it here. Sechua Mensah is a PRO for the ECG, the Tema division. And we also spoke with a resident on the basis of anonymity as far as the ECG prepaid meters installation is concerned. We'll follow up on that story and bring you some more subsequently. Now, we have a story coming in. The Kumasi shoe factory is at the Chirapatre Atonsu Agogo in the Ashanti region is on fire. Now, the 400 pupils, some 400 pupils have been evacuated from the basic directly opposite the factory. Now, the entire area being condoned off as firefighters work to extend the fire. So established in 1960, the shoe factory located at some 35.75 acre land produced footwear and some rubber sheets under the agreement signed by Ghana's President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Czech Republic in 1961. Now, it collapsed in late 70s. So it was resuscitated following a joint partnership between the Czech Republic-based company. We also have some acting through its subsidiary Knight Ghana Limited and the Defense Industries Holding Company Limited, owned by Ghana Armed Forces. We'll follow up on that one too and bring you some more updates. You're still watching News BT on Metro TV. We'll take a breather. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Newsbeat. Let's do some more stories, and it's time for business updates. Winston Taki is standing by. Winston, you're welcome.
Thank you, Annie. It's time to bring you business and some update on reference to fertilizer and also the Agric Ministry after this. And now to our first business story. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Efiri-Akoto, says the Kumasi Compost and Recycling Plant of the Jospong Group of companies has the capacity to support farmers in the country with quality organic fertilizer. According to him, the plant, among other companies in the country, will help resolve the fertilizer shortage challenge of Ghanaian farmers. There is more in the following report.
The Kumasi Compost and Recycling Plant of Zoomlion Ghana Limited, following the global shortage of inorganic fertilizers, took upon itself the challenge of producing organic fertilizers for farmers in the country. On the back of this, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Efiri-Akoto, paid a working visit to the plant as part of his annual regional tour of the country. The minister, who commended the waste management giant for the initiative, said government will support organic fertilizer companies in the country to produce more fertilizers for farmers.
I'm very relieved to see that big industrial concerns like these are actually putting in the investment to expand the operations to meet the demands of our workers, of our farmers, and in which case we have great confidence that the work that we have been doing with the farmers through planting for food and jobs.
He urged farmers to resort to the use of organic fertilizers, which is readily available at the Kumasi Compost and Recycling Plant.
That with a large quantity of waste in the Kumasi metropolis, which means that the evacuation of that waste is done, provides environmentally very friendly atmosphere for the people, the residents of Kumasi.
Business Development and Communication Manager of KCAP, Eugene Amo Asamoah, said the facility will be the end of August produce 9,000 tons of organic fertilizer for the farmers across the country.
So far, we are able to produce 150 tons, that is 3,000 bags of compost on a daily basis, of organic compost on a daily basis. And as you saw through the tour, we are also increasing our capacity. What it means is that we are tripling our capacity and produce 450 tons of compost on a daily basis.
The sector minister, who blamed the Russia-Ukraine war for the shortage of fertilizers in the country, said government is putting in place the necessary measures to support farmers.
Now, the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Esla Owusu Ekofo, says Africa needs standardization in order to facilitate trade across the continent through digitalization.
To make the Continental Free Trade Area work, we have to put in place the digital systems that will facilitate trade across the continent and look at all the systems, legal and regulatory frameworks that will facilitate that. Now, if there's a small company somewhere which is registered to do business in Ghana, they don't have to go through the same process of product registration in all the other countries before they can trade. So we have to put in place a platform that will enable anyone to search for any accredited company and trade with them. It's not just about e-commerce. We have to look at the logistics chain as well. How are we going to move goods from one country to another which is ordered by another country? We have to look at standardization. We have to look at volumes and consistency in the products that we produce and trade in. So if you're ordering ketchup, it shouldn't taste one way today and a different way tomorrow. So all these are things that we need to look at to make the free trade area work. But our products will be sold and traded in other countries seamlessly through this digital platform, applications and services that are being put in place. It's a global economy, and Africa has to be an integral part of it, not a beggar waiting for the crumbs that fall from their table. We have to sit at that table and chop some with them.
That'll be all for business here on Newsbeat. My name is Winston Taki. We'll be back with sports after this break. Stay tuned.
Hello there, let's enter into news now. My name is Desmond Okrekudan. So we'll begin from Ghana, where fast-rising Ghanaian artist Malcolm Nona has revealed he is unperturbed about comments that most young artists in the country do not make mature music. Speaking on Entertainment Review, he said, as a young act, he can only make songs about his experiences, which may not be appealing to persons above his age group.
First, I used to be very bothered about, oh, you have to make songs for like the older people who are like 25, 30, and I was still very young. Like, how do you want me to sing about stuff that people who are 30 years
have experienced?
Like, you feel like I haven't experienced it, so I feel like I kept on having this argument with my friends, like, do not force me, like, I'm growing into that phase too, when I can actually feel something and actually sing about it for you to sing about it, because that was in a phase in your life that you've already, and I haven't been to that phase in your life yet. So I felt like it was a stage that I was growing up to, and now I think I've reached the point where I'm ready I can sing for someone who is 25 years, 30 years.
Well, he further stated that he sometimes feels pressured about staying up in the industry, making reference to a tweet from award-winning rapper Sarkodie.
Yes, I feel like you are pressured. Like, he has given you the platform. He has made it notice that, there are young kids coming up there. So he has already given you an advantage, and every advantage is a bad side. So you have to be on your toes, because he has already given you that, oh yeah, I see you. So make sure you're on your toes. So of course you'll be pressured.
That's it for entertainment news. Annie standing by for the rest of the bulletin. Annie.
Right, birthday boy. Thank you for the international news. Let's now get onto the international front for updates. All right, now on the international front, protesters in India threw stones at police and set fire to train coaches on Friday as demonstrations against a new military recruitment process raged for a second day, police said. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government announced this week an overhaul of recruitment process for the 1.83 million strong armed forces, aiming to bring in more people on short 4-year contract to lower the average age of personnel. So many potential recruits object, saying they should be allowed to serve longer than 4 years. Opposition parties and some members of Modi's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party say the system will lead to more unemployment in the country grappling with joblessness. And now in France, an exceptionally early heat wave in France and Spain may further stress wheat crops after a dry spring through an expected easing in temperature, and showers across the region this month should avert large crop losses, analysts and growers said. Now, most analysts have been anticipating lower wheat production in the European Union this year after recording 21 crops in Romania and Bulgaria in following a dry spring, including the top producer, France. So temperatures in France hit 40 degrees Celsius locally on Thursday, approaching levels seen in Spain in the past week. That could exacerbate yield variations after early June showers helped some crops but missed some parched zones. The situation is extremely varied. With recent storms, you had one village getting soaked and the next one not at all. The Francois Jacques, Deputy Secretary General of French Wheat Growers Group, said. And that's it for Newsbeat. It came to you live from the Akua Boahema studio at North Ridge. We're back at 2 with Good Afternoon Ghana at 4, with News Flashing at 7, with News Night. Thanks for watching.